In some sports, the debate rages on who is the greatest of all time. Lionel Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo? Opinions differ. Similarly, it's an endless debate on who's the greatest of all time in this nail-biting tactical sport of snooker. The 2022 victory of Ronnie O'Sullivan in the World Snooker Championship has reignited the debate over who is the finest star in history. Last year, the 47-year-old matched Stephen Hendry's record of 7 world titles by defeating Judd Trump 18-13 at the Crucible. Now, many would argue that the Rocket deserves to be regarded as the game's greatest player of all time. The likes of snooker's founding fathers Joe Davis, Fred Davis, and John Pulman, world champions when the format was a challenge rather than a knockout, have been disregarded. Here are top 10 greatest snooker players of all time. If you are new to the channel, then don't forget to hit the subscribe button for amazing snooker videos and updates. 10. Jimmy White. Yes, White never won the world title, and he will be forever remembered for those 6 final defeats, including 4 against Hendry. However, the whirlwind style amused and entertained people of all ages, and he was reportedly the late Queen Mother's favorite player. At age 58, he inevitably triumphed at the Crucible, claiming the 2019 World Seniors Championship. After defeating Ken Doherty in the 2020 final, he repeated the feat the following year before losing to David Lilley in the 2021 final. He is still active and capable of challenging anyone in the game. 9. Alex Higgins. There are those who believe people's champion Alex Higgins should be placed higher in the overall standings, simply because of the extraordinary artistry he provided. Consider the unbelievable 135 break that won the World Championship final in 1982. However, Belfast's finest, a challenging, unpredictable character who smoked much, gambled frequently, and drank heavily, probably should have won more than the 2 Crucible titles he did. The winds of Hurricane Higgins blew him into a frenzy of fun and revelry. Aged 61, he passed away in 2010. 8. John Spencer. When the championship returned to an open format in 1969, the star from Lancashire won what is widely regarded as the first global professional title in his very first attempt. In the 1970s, his fights with Reardon became legendary. In 1979, he scored 147 at the Holson International, but it wasn't shown because the camera team had gone to McDonald's. Due to the unstandardized nature of the pockets, it was not included in the canonical tally either. 3 years later, at the Lauder Classic, he was sitting in the chair when Steve Davis shot the first official 147. In 1977, he won the Crucible for the first time and became the first boxer in history to do it. He passed away in 2006 at the age of 77. Mark Williams. When Williams won his 3rd World Championship 3 years ago, no one was more shocked than he was. At the beginning of the competition, he thought so little of his chances that he threatened to take off his clothes if he won. Careful what you wish for, a promise he kept at the news conference following the game. For the next calendar year, he partied his newfound status away with non-stop kebabs, pints, rounds of golf, and games of cards. However, the fact that the 48-year-old was able to retool his strategy and defeat Higgins, a member of the same graduating class of 1992, is a testament to his character. 6. Mark Selby. The jester from Leicester possessed a level of mental toughness maybe unseen in modern times. He won 3 world championships over the past decade, including a memorable comeback victory over Ronnie O'Sullivan in the 2014 final. And from 2010 until his fall from the top spot in 2020, he held the record for the longest reigning global number 1. Selby is the only man to be feared in the final stages of a competition, as he is the master of safety and grinding down his opponent. 5. John Higgins, winner of 4 world championships, 3 of which were won in distinct decades, and 31 ranking events. If the name Higgins is ever mentioned in the debate regarding the greatest of all time, many people will immediately think of Alex, not John. However, the Scots' reputation, consistency, and longevity merit recognition. O'Sullivan continually praises the 47-year-old, claiming he deserves more recognition than he currently receives. Between 2017 and 2019, he lost 3 Crucible finals, the first 2 by razor-thin margins, and the 147 he shot at the 2020 event behind closed doors will go down as one of the most impressive feats in the history of the sport. 4. Ray Reardon. Despite being neglected by many, Reardon's accomplishments have stood the test of time. The Welshman, who is now 90 years old, earned his 6 world titles in 1978 at the Crucible, his 6th different venue. At the age of 45, this victory over South African Perrymans was achieved at the renowned Sheffield venue. Before O'Sullivan overtook him, he was the eldest world champion in history. O'Sullivan praises his former coach, stating that Reardon taught him the discipline of playing safety. 3. Steve Davis. Davis was the man to beat in the 1980s, when snooker was at the height of its popularity and millions of people watched BBC television. Perhaps there were more talented stars and greater drinkers back then, but the Nugget worked harder and was more dedicated, thereby lifting the standards for professionalism. In 2010, at the age of 52, Davis made a record 30th Crucible appearance, defeating established world champion John Higgins to become the world's oldest quarter-finalist since Eddie Charlton in 1983. In addition, the 65-year-old is the only snooker player to win BBC Sports Personality of the Year. Ironic for a quiet man whose tongue-in-cheek nickname during his playing days was interesting. 2. Stephen Hendry. Between 1990 and 1999, the Scot won 7 world titles, including 5 in a row. This still remains a world record. 30 years ago, at the age of 21 years and 106 days, he became the youngest ever world champion. After Steve Davis's dominance in the 1980s, the 54-year-old, Jimmy White's opponent in 4 Crucible finals, raised the bar. His unforgiving potting standards challenged the following generation to raise their standards. 1. Ronnie O'Sullivan. O'Sullivan's position as the greatest has been reinforced by his victory over Trump in the 2022 World Championship Final, his 7th title. The Rocket has more ranking titles, Triple Crowns, 147s, and centuries than anyone else in the professional era. O'Sullivan merits his position at the top due to the exhilarating way he plays the game, the talent he possesses, and the long lifespan of his accomplishments. Why he's so good is because he makes the game look so easy. That is why Ronnie O'Sullivan is the greatest of all time. Let's look at some of the best shots of Ronnie O'Sullivan.
That's as good.
He's tried and he's got it.
Right hand side.
Follow us at www.theqist.com and join our Facebook group for latest snooker news and updates. Link will be in the description. Watch the video on the greatest snooker match fixing ban and comment your opinion.